In what universe is someone who is a serial repeat child rapist not at a risk of reoffending?
Senator, as I do in every case.
Okay, I know you've been told to repeat the line, I follow the law. I asked a question. In what universe is someone who is a serial repeat child rapist not at risk of reoffending?
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a heated Senate exchange that has everyone talking. Senator Ted Cruz went head-to-head with Judge Netburn over one of the most controversial judicial decisions you'll hear about. Trust me, you don't want to miss this breakdown. And before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on stories that matter.
Mr. McClain was released for parole, but then violated the terms of parole by having internet and was sent back to prison. 1 year after being released again, he was convicted of having child pornography. Is that correct?
I'm unclear on exactly the time frame that you're at, but the petitioner was convicted of distributing child pornography.
Child pornography that was images of adults violently raping children.
Abhorrent conduct.
Okay.
For which there are real victims.
And this individual, 6'2", biologically a man. A minute ago you said that when this man decided that he was a she, you said this individual was, quote, I wrote it down, sober and entirely a female. That phrase struck me as remarkable. Did this individual have male genitalia?
I think what I said, or at least what
that is a verbatim quote, entirely a female.
Sorry, what I meant to say was hormonally a female.
Okay, but that's not entirely. Did this individual have male genitalia?
Yes.
So you took a 6'2" serial rapist, serial child rapist with male genitalia, and he said, you know, I'd like to be in a women's prison. And your answer was, that sounds great to me. Let me ask you something. The other women in that prison, do they have any rights?
Is that a question you're
asking
asking me?
Yes, the other women in that prison, do they have any rights?
Of course.
Do they have the right not to have a 6'2" man who is a repeat serial rapist put in as their cellmate?
Senator Cruz, I considered the facts presented to me, and I reached a decision based on what the law
I asked
is.
you a question. Do they have a right not to have a 6'2" man who is a serial rapist put in as their cellmate? Do those women have a right to that?
Every person who's incarcerated has the right to be safe in their space.
But you didn't think so. You didn't think so. And in fact, I'm going to give some quotes from your order because Senator Kennedy is right. This is not a judge's order. This is a political activist. By the way, the beginning of your order says, at birth, people are typically assigned a gender. I got to say that would astonish a lot of Americans. A lot of Americans think you go to the hospital, a baby is born, and congratulations, you have a little boy, a little girl. The assigned a gender, I know you went to Brown, but it sounds like it's in a college faculty lounge with no bearing on reality. The Bureau of Prison argued what I'm saying right now, that if you put this person in a female prison, there will be a risk of sexual assault to the women. And you know what you did? You said you didn't care about the women. I'm going to quote what you wrote. You wrote, quote, the Bureau of Prisons claim penological interest in protecting female prisoners from sexual violence and trauma. This interest is legitimate, that's kind of you to say, but there are no signs that petitioner is at risk of reoffending. The record is devoid of evidence of incidents of violence or assault during petitioner's incarceration when she was the perpetrator, only the victim. A theoretical risk of sexual assault by the prisoner without more cannot support the BOP's position. No evidence, theoretical. Have you dealt, in what universe is someone who is a serial repeat child rapist not at a risk of reoffending?
Senator, as I do in every case.
Okay, I know you've been told to repeat the line, I follow the law. I asked a question. In what universe is someone who is a serial repeat child rapist not at risk of reoffending?
Sir, I looked at the facts that were before me in this case. All of the evidence, including the statements of every warden who had supervised this petitioner.
You also wrote, the BOP also posits that permitting petitioner to live among women will be traumatizing and possibly dangerous to them. This concern is overblown. I have to say, if I were the father of one of those women, and you decided that my daughter's cellmate was going to be a 6'2" man who over and over and over again committed violent sexual assault, I would say the entire justice system is absurd, and it is clear on your record your political ideology matters a heck of a lot more than the rights of those women that you endangered. I think you're a radical, and I think you have no business being a judge.
So, Senator Cruz started by pressing Judge Netburn with a direct question. Does she care more about protecting individual rights or about pushing a political ideology? Judge Netburn insisted she applies the law to the facts, but Cruz wasn't buying it. Here's the case at the center of this firestorm. A male defendant was convicted of raping a 9-year-old boy and a 17-year-old girl. Later, he was caught distributing child pornography, horrific crimes with real victims. And yet, after identifying as female, this 6'2" convicted offender was transferred to a women's prison. Cruz immediately pounced, arguing that this put incarcerated women in danger and stripped them of their right to safety. Cruz pointed to Judge Netburn's opinion, which described gender as being assigned at birth. He mocked the phrase as academic nonsense, saying it had no basis in reality. Judge Netburn's ruling did acknowledge concerns raised by the Bureau of Prisons about possible sexual violence. But she dismissed those concerns as theoretical, claiming there was no evidence this individual would reoffend while behind bars. Cruz accused her of being a political activist, not a neutral judge. Judge Netburn defended herself by saying the inmate had shown no violence in custody, and that wardens, medical experts, and even the sentencing judge supported the transfer due to serious medical needs. She also stressed that the Bureau of Prisons Transgender Executive Council never denied the transfer because of safety concerns, only because they wanted hormone stability maintained. Things got really tense when Cruz accused her of contradicting her own written report. He read passages aloud, arguing she downplayed the dangers to women in prison. The chair stepped in to keep order as the back and forth spiraled. The whole exchange revealed deep divides about safety, gender identity, and judicial decision-making. So here's the big takeaway. Senator Cruz sees this ruling as proof that ideology is trumping victims' rights. Judge Netburn insists she followed the facts and expert recommendations. But what do you think? Should a convicted child rapist be transferred to a women's prison, or does that put others at risk? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget, hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe for more eye-opening breakdowns of the biggest debates shaping our world.